Forum, our online town hall meeting of like minds. You can join the conversation on Facebook by following us on www.facebook.com/The Nigerian News or www.facebook.com/Television Nigerian, as well as all our social media handles. My name is Lawrence Aldu. The program continues after this short break. Stay with us.
Is Television Nigerian, a broadcast network committed to serving you the very best in online and offline television programming. Situated in the serene environment of Guzape, Abuja FCT, TVN, as it is fondly called, caters to a wide variety of audience via carefully orchestrated mind-blowing programs in the areas of fashion, business, politics, entertainment, religion, movies, food and health, culture and lifestyle, events around the globe, sports and foreign news. Whatever your inclination, we've got you completely covered with programs like Issues of the Moment, The Patriot, Daybreak Nigeria, Matter Africa, TVN Business Time, Healthy Living, From the Cradle, Stay Inspired, Entertainment Gist, Movie Hour, Hits Paradise, among others. All designed to keep you thoroughly informed, entertained, at the edge of your seats and yearning for more. A tour around our domain will reveal a highly dedicated staff force and a state-of-the-art facility and equipment for high-definition quality broadcast, making our station your #1 choice in advertising your business and propagating your ideas. We are currently on NigComSat doing our test transmission for takeoff in the nearest future. Television Nigerian is located in Nigeria at Television Nigerian House.
Welcome back to the forum. In the last 1 decade, Nigeria has continued to grapple with a wide range of security challenges following the Boko Haram insurgency and other violent crimes across the nation. Today, we're looking at the role of the diaspora in tackling this menace. I'm being joined on the program today by 3 renowned scholars all the way from the United States of America. I have Professor Peter Agbese of the University of Northern Iowa. Prof, you're welcome to the forum. I also have Professor Bitrus Gwamna from Massachusetts. He's not alone. He's been joined by another scholar who has also been in the forefront of writing and researching on the issue of insecurity and insurgency in Nigeria. I'm talking of no other person but Olabisi Gwamna. You're all welcome to the forum. Now, we will just go straight to the point. From the beginning, I'd like to take on Madam. Please, quickly, we want to hear from you. What is your appraisal of the security situation in Nigeria between since 2015?
That's how long. I mean, I haven't been home since 2011. So much of what we've read has been, much of what I know about security have been through the media and from people who have traveled from here and other parts of the world. And from my own opinion, I think corruption is still at the basis of insecurity. And I would look at it from the viewpoint of the police and how they've been how, the infrastructure they've been given to fight, crime in the society. I think if the police had been well trained, and I'm sure they were, but somehow between 20, even before 2015, you see them asking for bribe, asking for dash, when you come, anywhere you're coming from, they become a menace on the road. You're not so sure you will get to where you're going because they are in cahoots with criminals. So honestly, it's hard for me to put a word to what's responsible for the situation, other than that if people were satisfied with their their salary, if they have pride in their training, in their profession, they would withstand any form of temptation outside. But if their conditions of living are nothing to write home about, they're not proud of their profession, uh, I think that will reflect badly and negatively on the security of the nation.
Okay, I'm going to move over to you, Professor Beatrice Guam now. Can you hear me, Prof?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes.
Okay, I'm going to ask you the same question. We had a situation from the beginning of the Boko Haram insurgency in Nigeria up to 2015 and up till now. How would you be able to contrast the situation as it is now?
Well, certainly it's obvious that between 2015 and now, much has been done to tame the Boko Haram menace. Certainly, Boko Haram has not been accused of attacking any location in Abuja, the seat of the federal government. And it's obvious that local government areas in Yobe, Taraba, and Borno are not occupied by members of Boko Haram. So in that respect, the security situation has improved as from 2015. But the fact that we are unable to clear the remnants of Boko Haram in the Sambisa forest or wherever it is that they are located would suggest that there is still a lot of fighting that must be continued to be able to be rid of the menace, I would think.
Professor Agbese.
Yes, sir.
You have heard the two speakers. What will be your reaction, sir?
I agree with what the two speakers have spoken about. But let me provide maybe a slightly wider vista for looking at insecurity in Nigeria. If we contrast the situation between 2015 and now and before 2015, we've seen some progress, but at the same time, we also have seen some drawbacks. For example, as Professor Gwamna pointed out, the second Professor Gwamna, that's Beatrice, Boko Haram, its wings have literally been clipped. It is no longer controlling local governments, 13 of them, as it did in 2015. It is also, as Beatrice pointed out, no longer able to hit any areas outside of the northeastern zone. So that's a big progress. But on the other hand, the fact that it can still launch attacks on targets, both military and civilian, in the northeastern zone, it's worrisome. Its ability to gather intelligence on troop movement in the northeast zone is also highly worrisome. It has very accurate, actionable intelligence that it is able to attack Nigerian forces, mostly by launching ambush attacks. So that's bad. But we also have to take into account that before 2015, there was militancy in the oil-producing region of Nigeria. That has calmed down a great deal. In fact, there is hardly any attack by oil militants anymore. So that's a big progress. On the other hand, cattle rustling and attacks by armed gunmen have expanded beyond the Kaduna state to include places like Katsina, Zamfara, and so many other places, Plateau, and also Benue. So this is highly worrisome that as Nigeria grapples with one type of security issue, new ones tend to emerge or existing ones tend to escalate. Also, before 2015, there were many cases of kidnapping for hire. That has expanded actually beyond the southern parts of Nigeria to include virtually every part of the country. That too is highly worrisome. And what all this indicate is the inability of the police, as BC pointed out, to be able to grapple with criminalities and other forms of violent crimes in the country. So on balance, one could say there are some areas of improvement, but on the other hand, the escalation in new types of violence throughout the country is greatly worrisome to me.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. I want to take you back to the issue of ISIS infiltrating parts of the country. Recently, the United States Africa Command, AFRICOM, issued a statement that ISIS and some of their collaborators are trying to infiltrate parts of the country. Let me start with Madam. Is the diaspora worried about the situation in Nigeria?
Oh, definitely. I mean, we I know some of us, at least most of my friends are very nervous about, the notion of coming back home finally to retire. And it's becoming a more and more plausible situation with the condition here too, And so, but then when we consider the spate of, kidnappings and, just like Dr. Agbese said, kidnapping for hire. I mean, and sometimes when they get the ransom, they still kill it. They still kill the victim. That is so unnerving. Yeah, we are worried about that, and I don't. And I think the border protection is another area where I think, and I'm sure some of us think, could be improved on. Because if Nigeria, we are so porous. Anybody can come into our country, from the Cameroons, from Niger, from everywhere. But if the government could tighten security, make sure, even if you carry an ECOWAS passport, it shouldn't matter. They should still be able to do some background thing or background information on whoever is coming in or coming out. So I think if they could tighten border security, we'll have, we will be more at peace. Or will be there's more likelihood that a lot more people will want to come back and finally settle.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Professor Beatrice Gwamna, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, yes.
Now, the UN Central Command, Africa Command, has issued this statement that ISIS and some of its elements are trying to infiltrate parts of Nigeria, not just Nigeria, the West African sub-region and the Sahel region, to be precise. Now, how worried are you that these guys are not sharing this intel with our security agencies rather than going public to the media.
Well, I think that is a pity. Well, unless we have to go there on the assumption that they have not shared it with our security agencies. It's possible that they did, and if there was not, if our security agencies did not take steps to, or did not take practical steps to stem the invasion, why would I not? Why would the the U.S. Central Command not alert the public to this worrisome activity? It would appear to me at this time, I would like to hope that the reason why the U.S. Central Command had to alert the public to the presence of ISIS in Nigeria, especially southern Nigeria, would be because our military intelligence was informed, and they were unable to do anything about it. Which again, I think it is sad. But if they were not informed, there has to be a reason for it. It could be that they didn't trust our military to react, and so they would want to force, the public into making as much noise as they can to be able to prompt our intelligence apparatus to do something about this menace. I really can't think of any reason, why they would want to come to the go over the heads of our intelligence community to announce the presence of ISIS, unless, of course, our intelligence community was unprepared to respond.
Well, Prof, if I may add to that quickly, the Armed Forces of Nigeria, through its spokesman, said something today that that they are aware of moves by ISIS extremists to infiltrate parts of the country, and they are doing everything to nip the situation in the bud. But we are looking at it from another angle, that it is possible that the military may not have been fed, with the accurate intel. The intel may not have been shared, because the question arose when a reporter asked the spokesman of what the military is doing to stem the tide. It portrayed it that these guys probably did not share intel with the Nigerian military.
Well, Professor Besser has been a teacher of security strategies. He might even most likely have a better understanding of why the U.S. Central Command might have appealed, to the Nigerian public over the heads of our military over the regarding this situation. So,
okay,
Prof,
I'm going to go to you now, Prof. Professor Agbese, please.
Yes. Well, we have to distinguish between the U.S. Africa Command, not Central Command. I think it must be the Africa Command.
Africa Command, yes, it was right. The Africa Command,
yeah, yes. Issuing a warning about ISIS infiltration into West Africa or ISIS infiltration into Nigeria. If it is to West Africa, then that will be a general statement, and it will be directed at ISIS itself to let it be aware that U.S. intelligence is abreast of its activities in West Africa. But if it is specifically to Nigeria, then that becomes worrisome, because why would the U.S. Go public, as Professor Gwamna has pointed out, without first alerting Nigerian security forces? It could only be, if that was the case, that it suspected that Nigerian security services will share the details of its intelligence with ISIS, which will be really very bad on the country. But it is not a new thing that ISIS, it's already in West Africa. Boko Haram declared itself to be the West African province of ISIS. Al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb, which is what they refer to North Africa, has been operating for more than a decade in parts of Mali, Mauritania, etc. So ISIS has been in West Africa for a long time. But if there is a new tempo of movement of ISIS to West Africa that the US Africa Command knows about, then that will be a new thing. But the sheer presence of ISIS in West Africa has been on for quite some time.
Okay, Prof. Prof, gentlemen and madam, we will take a very short break and then come back later to conclude the program. Please stay tuned.
The question of leadership is a factor in this regard to the success of the fight against the Boko Haram terrorists. And then you look at also the factor of morale.
For almost a decade, the Nigerian army have given their all to ensure that our dear country is not overrun by Boko Haram insurgents. Some have in the process paid the ultimate price, while many will forever live with indelible scars occasioned by their determination to protect the country, no matter the hurdle. Despite these, they have remained resolute and undaunted, and today, all territories the insurgents once took control of have been recaptured and normalcy restored. And now, for the first time in a long time, the end of Boko Haram is foreseeable. Therefore, the wisest thing for the remaining insurgents to do is to surrender today or face total destruction from the army. Remember, the Nigerian army will stop at nothing to ensure that total peace is restored in all parts of the country. So, be wise and embrace peace today or get ready to be ruthlessly dealt with. This message is brought to you by the Coalition on Conflict Resolution and Human Rights in Nigeria. Guzape Hilltop Mansion beside Guzape, a broadcast network committed to serving you the very best in online and offline television programming. Situated in the serene environment of Guzape, Abuja FCT, TVN, as it is fondly called, caters to a wide variety of audience via carefully orchestrated mind-blowing programs in the areas of fashion, business, politics, entertainment, religion, movies, food and health, culture and lifestyle, events around the globe, sports and foreign news. Whatever your inclination, we've got you completely covered with programs like Issues of the Moment, The Patriot, Daybreak Nigeria, Matter Africa, TVN Business Time, Healthy Living, From the Cradle, Stay Inspired, Entertainment Gist, Movie Hour, Hits Paradise, among others. All designed to keep you thoroughly informed, entertained, at the edge of your seats and yearning for more. A tour around our domain will reveal a highly dedicated staff force and a state-of-the-art facility and equipment for high-definition quality broadcast, making our station your #1 choice in advertising your business and propagating your ideas. We are currently on Nigecomsat doing our test transmission for takeoff in the nearest future. Television Nigerian is located in Nigeria at Television Nigerian House, Guzape Hilltop Mansion, beside Guzape White House, Guzape Abuja FCT, and in the United Kingdom at 45 Ancient House, 48 Aerodrome Road, Beaufort Park, Colindale, London. For inquiries, Television Nigerian, broadcast beyond boundaries. Mind-blowing programs in the areas of fashion, business, politics, entertainment, religion, movies, food and health, culture and lifestyle, events around the globe, sports and foreign news. Whatever your inclination, we've got you completely covered with programs like Issues of the Moment, The Patriot, Daybreak Nigeria, Matter Africa, TV and Business Time, Healthy Living, From the Cradle, Stay Inspired, Entertainment Gist, Movie Hour, Hits Paradise, among others. All designed to keep you thoroughly informed, entertained, at the edge of your seat and yearning for more. A tour around our domain will reveal a highly dedicated staff force and a state-of-the-art facility and equipment for high-definition quality broadcast, making our station your...
Discussing the role of the diaspora in tackling insecurity in Nigeria, and we've been speaking with Professor Bitrus Gwamna, Professor Olabisi Gwamna, and also Professor Peter Agbese, all from the United States of America. The program will continue. I'll start with Professor Peter Agbese. Prof, if you can hear me.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can hear you.
Hello, Prof. Okay, beautiful. Now,
yes, I can hear you.
In the past week, the Nigerian military was accused of running some other nefarious activities outside its constitutional role of providing security and strengthening the sovereignty of Nigeria. How do you react to this, especially in the northeast part of the country?
I'm sorry, I wasn't aware of the accusation, so I would not be able to.
Yes, if you could recall, the governor of Borno State was attacked on his way to Baga, and certain allegations were made that the attack was, premeditated so that he doesn't get into the town, where the accusers have said the military is involved in fish business and other livestock trade against their constitutional mandate. Investigations have been carried out, and we have discovered that those allegations were baseless and unfounded. Now, when we begin to have these kind of allegations from time to time, where are we headed?
Well, it is normal in a violent situation that the war is carried out by means other than just guns. Particularly in an internet age, warfare through the media is an important part of any insurgent campaign. And so we have to be aware of baseless accusations that can be leveled against the military. Well, the Nigerian military is a very large organization, so one cannot rule out one or two or a few soldiers engaging in nefarious activities. But at the same time, one also has to be clearly aware that there is a lot of disinformation carried out by Boko Haram and its supporters about the activities of the Nigerian military. And so when accusations like the one you have just cited are made, it is important to bear in mind that they remain accusations until they are proven to be true or false.
Professor Bitrus Gwamna.
Yes, I would like to react to it this way. I think that it is time that our military develop a greater understanding of the social media and begin to use the social media to reach reach individuals that in other words, let the military understand the use of the social media so that they're able to appeal to the masses for support. I don't see why, for example, knowing that most people use telephones, I don't see why the military would not, for example, send text messages to people, to phones, educating them on, to help to develop a relationship between the military and, the masses in areas, in areas of command. I don't, with the proliferation of radio and television stations in Nigeria, I don't see why the military would not have programs on radio and on television to educate the, to help to promote military, civilian relationship, so as to engender trust, of the military, by those, by the people in the areas in which the military, serve. They should not take for granted that people are aware of the role of the military in promoting peace. The military should be in the process of educating the masses and helping the masses to understand ways in which the the military can be helped, to improve security in the country.
Okay, now let's digress a bit to other issues. The northwest part of this country has also had its own share of violent crimes. I'm talking about banditry. Now, in the last few months, we've seen increase in banditry attacks, and then there was an agreement between the Northwest governors and those bandits. But suddenly there was a fallout. Professor Gwamna, I'm still with you. Is it proper to continue to have such negotiations with bandits, or there should be a total military action?
Well, what has happened probably is that the bandits do not believe that the military are capable of doing anything, which might explain why they are over the place and roaming almost free. it suggests to me too that the military perhaps don't have the kind of intelligence that they need to be able to ferret out the hideouts of these, bandits. And that would suggest to me then that the military should make use of members of the community, or to develop, to have members of the community serve as scouts, so that the military are properly, kept abreast of the hideouts of these bandits. The bandits, should be made to understand that agreements reached must be agreements kept, or else there are consequences. And since these bandits do not see that there are consequences for their actions, they would continue to they would continue to roam free. That I think is my attitude.
Professor Agbese, do you agree with the submission of Professor Gwamna?
Yes, I do, but I'm troubled by the fact that Nigerian governors will enter into negotiations with bandits. How do you enter into negotiation with criminals? No, we are not talking about insurgents. We are not talking about rebels. We are talking about outright criminals who are terrorizing people. On what basis would the Nigerian governors in the Northwest agree to sit down with these criminals? What are they giving the criminals, and what are the criminals giving to them in return? I think it's completely atrocious that anybody will contemplate sitting down with criminals to negotiate whatever deal. How do we stop other criminals from holding the nation to a jugular? Why would we not negotiate with other armed robbers? What makes the bandits in the Northwest so special that they deserve to go into a peace conference with governors? I think in any other place, any governor who does that will be promptly impeached. But since I don't know the details of it, I'd like to know what exactly the governors promised to the bandits and what the bandits have promised to the governors. A state that is not able to control the activities of sheer criminals like the bandits in the Northwest, it's a failed state, in my opinion. And Nigeria should not be proud that its political leaders are sitting down to negotiate with pure criminals. There is absolutely no reason for it. If the military is overwhelmed, let the government inform us. So we can take a different approach. We can organize community resistance against bandits. But to me, I'm totally opposed to any negotiation with bandits.
Okay, Mrs. Gwamna, you've heard the two scholars, the position of Professor Agbese and Professor Gwamna. How do you react, ma'am?
I mean, among the Yorubas, they would say it takes a thief. It takes a thief to catch a thief, And in the old days, they would send very seasoned hunters to guard the entrances to a particular village in order to lay ambush to any criminals trying to harm the community. And to think that you could sit down and negotiate with criminals, not political opponents or anything like that, but criminals that are intent on harming no, it doesn't even sound Nigerian. I haven't read it in any story that's like that. So there must be something alien to any Nigerian culture, and I stand I stand to be proven wrong. I don't think there's any community in Nigeria traditionally, that would negotiate with criminals. So really, I think the government should stop embarrassing us Nigerians, because when they do that, it's so embarrassing, even to us in the diaspora. How do we condemn situations in other parts of the continent when within our own country some governors are negotiating with hardcore criminals? No, it's not good. It's like prison guards being bribed by condemned criminals. I find it very troubling, and they should stop that. It's embarrassing to the Nigerian military. I mean, this is the military that was it not our military that was part of the United Nations peacekeeping stayed in Liberia. When did we start being so weak that we can't even discipline errant criminals?
Let me also add.
Let's move on. Okay. Go ahead, Prof.
Yeah, how was the negotiation conducted? Face-to-face or virtual negotiation? Because it seems to me preposterous that Nigerian governors will sit down with criminals to negotiate with them. Why would the police not immediately swoop in and arrest those criminals? Unless the negotiation was conducted online or virtually, I don't really see how any governor could come out and say, yes, I sat down with bandits. I don't care how much danger the bandits have posed to the states in the Northwest. But the idea that the governors will recognize their legitimacy as if they have any legitimate claim to sit down to negotiate with them, I think should be, as Professor Gwamna pointed out, a big embarrassment to Nigeria and to Nigerians.
I'm just wondering now, is it not about time that the country began to see the need for the state police?
Yeah, go ahead, Prof.
I'm just thinking aloud, because if the military are controlled by, the military and the police are owned and controlled by the federal government, and the state governments, governors are only, and we say that the state governors are heads of their, of the security apparatus of the, the state. And we have a situation where the military and the police are unable to do too much in the state because they have to take the order from the, from the federal government. I begin to wonder whether it's not yet time, for us to, have an apparatus that is directly in the hands of, the state governors, so they don't have an excuse for not providing the security that the states need.
But Professor Adese, would you align with the position that Nigeria is ripe for state police?
Not. I can understand the necessity for doing that, but given the autocratic behavior of the state governors, I'm really afraid that giving then coercive forces like the police will actually worsen the situation in many of the states. But I do agree that we need some element of decentralization in the police system, not necessarily to create state police, but to ensure greater flexibility in the operational basis of the police at the state and local levels. But I also think that the idea of forming vigilantes should be seriously considered, not vigilantes at the state level as it's being done in some of the states, but each local government should be able to have crime control mechanisms, including the establishment of vigilante forces.
Now, this reminds me of the statements credited to Governor Babagana Zulum of Borno State, who said the Nigerian police should be armed with weapons of war. Now, this statement sometimes sounds ridiculous. I mean, is it that you just stay back and make blanket statements? What could be wrong with this statement? What informed such kind of statement from him?
Well, if bandits are carrying AK-47s,
right,
and the gun that the policeman has, has only 2 or 3 bullets in it. I mean, that police officer is fodder, for a bandit that has an AK-47 that shoots several different, rounds within a minute. So I can see why Governor Zulum would suggest that the police should be better armed than they are right now to confront confront bandits. And I think I agree with Professor Agbesa, who suggests vigilante operations in local government areas and villages. I mean, these vigilante groups would serve, if you like, as scouts, to inform the police or the military in the case of a problem that might arise, so that they can take action, but they must be properly armed. That's the important thing. I think that is what that governor is suggesting. It's not that they should be, be armed with bazookas and whatever, but they should have the kind of weapons that would outmatch those that are used by bandits.
Yeah, and I don't think the statement credited to Governor Zulum, it's a wild one. The police should be armed to the extent of the type of risk and the criminalities that they face. And if it requires the police to have armored personnel carriers to be able to confront the dangers that the society over which they are policing faces, there is absolutely nothing wrong with it. Here in the United States, the Army actually donates some of its surplus weapons to the local police. I mean, there have been charges that the police tend to misuse those. But the idea that the Nigerian police is so poorly armed vis-a-vis the type of enemies that it confronts, it's a national disgrace. Not just that the police is lightly armed, most often the bullets issued to them are rationed. And the armed robbers know this. The bandits know this. And so when they attack, they know that the police is not likely to be able to respond effectively. So anything that will make the police more efficient, more effective in its operations should be applauded.
Okay, before we go, I'm going to start with Madam Olabisi Gwam now. Madam, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Now, to conclude, what are the roles of the diaspora in tackling the many security challenges facing Nigeria?
I think from this vista where I am situated, and from what I can read and hear, I sense a little ethnicity at the basis of how Nigerians outside the country respond or react when news about security or insecurity happens in Nigeria. And the usual problem, it's taking place in the north. Why, who cares? They can never do that in the south. Or they can. So I think until Nigerians in the diaspora, until we start behaving like with a national, spirit, we will still find ourselves going, haphazardly when it comes to making a very firm statement on security. So I think we need to work more on unity, on national unity. Yeah, it's okay to have our regional differences and all that, but I think we should be more sympathetic when crimes are being committed in certain parts of the country and not act, unconcerned, nonchalant because it's not taking place in my part of the country.
Professor Gomna, your submission, sir.
Well, honestly, I don't know what we can do here as members of the diaspora, other than become spokespeople for against disunity. In other words, we should be the ones that should be able to explain to our hosts, meaning, the states in which we reside. We should be the spokesperson for Nigeria, speak well of our country, so that better policies can be formed and implemented when it comes to, in other words, we should find a way of improving the relationship between, in our case, the United States and Nigeria, between Britain and Nigeria, between Australia and Nigeria, between Canada and Nigeria. And the only way that's possible is if we as diaspora Nigerians can learn to speak well of our country.
Professor Agbese.
Yeah, Nigerians in the diaspora are organized along various bases. There are ethnic associations, there are regional associations, there are also professional associations, as well as a National Association of Nigerians in the Diaspora. So there are so many things collectively these organizations can do. As Professor Buemna pointed out, one of the ways is how Nigerians in the diaspora becomes spokespersons on behalf of Nigeria with their host countries, like in the United States. But it can go much more than that. The Nigerians in diaspora can also put pressure on their host countries to take action against unacceptable behavior by the Nigerian government. But in terms of trying to effect changes in Nigeria, there are so many things Nigerian organizations and Nigerian individuals in the diaspora have done and are doing. For example, the three of us belong to a regional organization called Zumunta USA, and we are drafting a statement on the current situation in Nigeria, particularly with respect to violence in places like Southern Kaduna, Plateau, Benue, and the Northwest. And the statement is going to be both a condemnation of what's going on and also a suggestion on what can be done. So at that regional level, that's one thing Nigerians in the diaspora are doing. Some are also sending money and relief materials to people at home. For example, a number of organizations here have sent money and relief materials to people to deal with the COVID pandemic. We can also, in addition, provide scholarships, such as what we are doing in our Zumunta Association. We have an annual scholarship available to university students from the northern states of Nigeria. And so there are so many things we can do, but the notion that those of us in the diaspora have the key to development and to peace and stability in Nigeria, I think it's a very fallacious one. We can help, and in some cases we can initiate, but the bulk of the job has to be done by Nigerians in Nigeria.
Well, if there are there final comments from Madam or Professor Bitrus?
No, I think for me, though, that trust is a word that is missing in the Nigerian diction. We don't trust each other in Nigeria. Because we don't trust each other in Nigeria, we find ourselves becoming very selfish. We're always asking ourselves the question, what is it for me? For me as an individual. We forget that the person next to us, how is it, so if we're able to learn to trust each other, we would be able to we would be able to take the kind of decisions that would enable Nigerians, to truly progress. I live here in this small town called Mount Pleasant. When I step out of my house, I meet my neighbor, I say hello to him or her. I don't know what my neighbor has. She doesn't know what I have. And the most important thing is that, we trust each other well enough to be able to say hello to each other and not think that we are each other's enemy. That is a problem that we have at home. We don't love each other. We don't.
Okay,
Madam?
Yeah, I was going to say that, rape, domestic, either it happens in a home or by strangers, it's an offense, it's a crime that should be punished and in the country. And it's nothing to be ashamed of. If you're raped, there's no reason to not to cover it up, and the government should try and help, families, women, girls, boys that are being, that are being ravaged by this very horrible crime. So rape is a very it's a crime that needs to be wiped out of our country. It shouldn't be permitted. It shouldn't be allowed. It should be exposed.
Now, I must thank all of you for being on the program this evening. It has been a very refreshing moment, and I believe that the millions of Nigerians who have tuned in will appreciate your contributions to the program. Thank you very much for coming.
Well, thank you much for having us.
Thank you.
Now, this is the much we can take on the forum tonight. Until we come your way again with another exciting edition of the program, we'll continue to update you, and we urge you to go to all our social media handles and follow, and also share and send your contributions, commentaries, and suggestions. This is where we draw the curtains today on the forum. My name is Lawrence Audu. Bye for now.